back here in the episode of Don Test the Pod. It's me and Gets only here for this episode. Got anything else to say, Gets?
Just like the old days, just like the first few podcasts.
But first thing, we was wrong. Tampa Bay.
We were terribly wrong.
Wow.
I think the point where I knew I was in trouble with my prediction was like a day before the game. I heard that the Chiefs were going to miss both their left tackle and their right tackle. And I was like, I'm going to stick with my guns just because I have to. I made the take, but it could be in trouble. And it ended up being that the Bucs still just rushed forward and dropped everyone into coverage, but Patrick Mahomes had no time, which is really the only way you're going to beat him, because if you blitz Patrick Mahomes, he's going to beat you. And so you have to be able to pressure him with 4. And they did that well. And Todd Bowles, what a game by him. I think he definitely deserves another chance at being a head coach. He head coach for the Broncos. That doesn't really count. So that doesn't really count as like a failed time because the Broncos suck. And Tom Brady just did what he had to. Game manager type stuff, but still the GOAT, just because he doesn't make mistakes either.
Yeah, but like I'm saying, like, the whole entire win was just because the Bucs defense, because, like, in my opinion. But, like, there were, in the first half, there were some questionable calls, too. But
oh, my gosh. I forgot about those because it ended up being such a blowout. So, in the end, it didn't really matter. Yeah. But that first PI call, okay, I can see that. The one where he threw the pick. You know that?
Yeah.
Okay, that's 50-50. The second one was the worst thing I've ever seen. If I was Bruce Arians, I would have declined it for respect of the game, because Tom Brady just throws it miles out of the end zone, and it's not even close.
Yeah. And then, like, when they get an interception, they call a PI, like, 5 seconds later after the interception happened. Like, if you want to call a foul, call it right away. Don't wait for a while to call the foul. The same thing that happened in the NFC Championship game with Kevin King. But and some of these fouls, like, they're barely even touching the players, but they're calling it now. So, because sometimes you got to let them play football. But
yeah, and Tom Brady wasn't asked to do anything too crazy this game, but he just did make a mistake, though, which is also to his credit.
Because the past, like, 3 playoff games, he threw at least 3 interceptions each game.
Yeah, he wasn't as perfect in those games, but how many times in this game do you have just like a 5-yard dump off to Fournette and then he gets a first down, or just a little 5-yard pass and then yards after catch and they get a first down out of it? That's a lot of what he really had to do. Even the first touchdown to Gronk, that's like my favorite play on Madden, PA boot slide, and just toss it out right to the tight end, and he goes and gets 15 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah. They just play really smart against the Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, because they know they can't get in like a throwing battle, throwing it deep against this team. So they just decided to chew the clock down, play smart.
Their game plan was just solid. Andy Reid's usually good at these things coming off a bye week, but he just looked lost.
Yeah. And then the only person who got wrong about the Bucs winning was Yama, but he's not here for today.
We got it right? Yeah.
But what do you think is next for Tampa Bay? Because Tampa Bay has a lot of free agents. Chris Godwin, Rob Gronkowski, Antonio Brown, Leonard Fournette, all free agents this year.
I don't know what their cap situation is like, but just with Tom Brady's mentality, he wants to run it back. So, and I bet those guys want to run it back. I mean, you just came from the best team you might ever be on, so I imagine a lot of those guys are going to want to stay. And you could tell from the way that Tom Brady said on the Super Bowl podium, he was like, "What's next?" And Tom was like, "Run it back. We're doing it again next year."
Yeah, but I don't know how, like, I know, like, okay, they probably can get Rob and Antonio Brown and Leonard Fournette back, but I don't know how they can get Chris Godwin back because that's going to be the more expensive contract right there. But if I was all, I would definitely re-sign with the Bucs and try to run back.
Yeah, maybe Chris Godwin takes a team-friendly deal for a year.
That's what Mike Evans did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He reconstructed his contract so it can be a more team-friendly. But what's next for the Chiefs? The Chiefs only had like $1 in cap space left. Sure.
Keep the roster though, because I mean you've made it to 2 straight Super Bowls, won one of them. This Super Bowl was a bad result, but it was just about the game plan and unfortunate people that you were missing. You're missing like Eric Fisher, who's an all-pro type tackle and stuff. So Patrick Mahomes is under constant arrest the whole game. So I'd run it back with the same roster.
Yeah, but and maybe they should go out looking in the draft and try to see if they can draft someone to help their team because like a big problem with them during the game was actually corners because like their corners didn't do well against Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. Like they got the safeties and they got the D-line, but the corners and linebackers wasn't doing as well. Like for example, some of those holding calls were actually holding calls because you see in the last second, see the corners holding on to Mike Evans and got pass interference on the other side of the field. You just don't do that.
Those holding calls were killing me, man.
Mm-hmm.
But they were all over them. Mm-hmm. So they could definitely look for that in the draft. And the good thing about the NFL, unlike the NBA draft, is like NBA, once you're past like 10, it's done. Mm-hmm. And if you have a pick like the Lakers, you're a good team, you might as well just not even be picking. But in the NFL, there's just talent throughout the whole draft.
Like how the Chiefs got Clyde Edwards-Helaire from last year in the first round.
Yeah.
And they also got like McCole Harmon too the year before.
There's just way more stories in the NFL than any other league of guys being like late round drafts and turning out to be great players. Mostly I'm just thinking of wide receivers right now, but I can think of 2 from the Super Bowl, Antonio Brown and Tyreek Hill.
Oh, you're talking about wide receivers.
Yeah, I was talking about real late draft picks. Those guys were like 5th or 6th round.
Mm-hmm. Because Tyreek Hill went to Oklahoma State, got cut because of legal issues, and then he went to a smaller school.
West Alabama.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but J.J. Watt getting cut from the Texans.
Good for him that he can leave that garbage organization. I saw something funny yesterday that said, this is the punishment for the Houston Astros cheating because they really didn't get punished at all. So all this happening is their punishment. There's a lot of landing spots for J.J. Watt. I'm interested to see where he goes. I hope he doesn't go to the Steelers just because his brother, because that franchise is going to go like this. They might lose Juju. They have Ben Roethlisberger at quarterback, so they can't really ever win anyway.
And they might lose James Carnes too.
Yeah. So I hope he doesn't go there, but he probably wants to play with his brother. I haven't heard too much about other potential landing spots, but glad he's out of Houston, which is sad actually because I think he really liked Houston and all the stuff he did for hurricane relief and stuff. The city liked him too, but the organization just turned to such garbage recently. So
yeah, just terrible front office for Houston, like for the Bill O'Brien and not getting the staff that Deshaun Watson won with Eric Bellamy or any other coach.
Not listening to him at all. And also they hired a general manager that he didn't care for either.
Yeah, the head coach they got, he was a terrible head coach when he was a head coach. He was was he the
wide receivers coach for the Chiefs in a year where the Chiefs didn't catch a single pass touchdown, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
The wide receivers didn't.
Yeah, and also he was a wide receiver head coach for the Ravens.
Ravens, so that's like being the wide receivers coach for Navy football.
Yeah. I just don't know why they picked him up. But one spot I can see him going is the Browns and Packers. That'd be nice to see him. But I feel like wherever Deshaun, I think J.J. Watt's going to wait till wherever Deshaun goes, and he's going to go there probably.
Oh, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm. And then, so, but I like to see him on the Browns or Packers, maybe.
Yeah, I want to see him get to contend because that's something he hasn't really had in his life. I mean, just a year ago, the Texans were up 24-0 on the Chiefs, but like he hasn't been to those late rounds of the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but Deshaun Watson narrows his list. Right now, the two teams that on that narrow list, not the Jets anymore, but it's the 49ers and the Denver Broncos. And now the Denver Broncos, odds went up for getting Deshaun Watson. So what team do you think Deshaun Watson is going to go on? Broncos, 49ers? I'm pretty sure Dolphins still on the teams. Like,
I'd like to see him go to the Dolphins, but because I don't think Tua's legit because how he ended the season, it was kind of poor. So I think if there's a chance to get a guy like Deshaun Watson, you send them Tua and you send them Houston's actual first-round pick this year, and then like another 2 first-round picks or something, and you make it work. But I don't see him going to the Broncos. It just doesn't seem like a fit to me. Is he going to like the cold weather there after playing in South Carolina at Clemson and playing in Houston now? Now he has to go be like this cold weather, tough quarterback up in Denver. No, I see him more with the 49ers. And that defense is still as good as – not as good, but good from when it went to the Super Bowl. So,
well, the thing is, like, we were going to talk about the 49ers later, but 49ers lost a lot of players because Richard Sherman's leaving. Like, let me pull up this. Where did I have it at? I probably have it somewhere. I saw this on Instagram about the 49ers, like how they're not the same team as they went to the Super Bowl. See, they lost Salah and Buckner's gone, and Sherman and Vera might be leaving free agency, and Raheem Mostert is still is injury prone, so I just don't really see them being as good. Their defense they lost most of their defense from that year, and their offense. Besides they have good receivers, but their running back is injury prone. So and the Colts team is injury prone too. So we're not sure about them being as good.
Yeah, the roster is one thing he has to look at, but also the place where he wants to live.
Mm-hmm.
San Francisco is pretty cool to live, I would imagine.
Honestly, I think Denver it's pretty cool.
Yeah, you think so?
Mm-hmm. Never been there before, but
Oh, I've been there a lot of times. How come I've been to Mile High Stadium more times than you?
Yeah, never been to Mile High Stadium, so
watching them was a punishment. I had to watch Case Keenum.
Oh,
those Broncos.
Oh.
I don't know. I think I could count the amount of first downs you guys got on like one hand, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But your defense was still so good that the game was like.
Problem. Like we keep on getting like that year when we keep on getting stops, and then like we turn over the ball. Case Keenum gets the ball, and he's like 4 downs later, we're punting the ball. So
yeah.
But that was like the year that Phillip Lindsay had like a breakout year. So.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Mm. Yeah, but I feel like maybe like Kareem Jackson used to be teammates with Deshaun Watson, good friends with him. He said that he's really interested. Remember, they also have the receivers. They got KJ Hamler, Jerry Jeudy, and Cortland Sutton, and Tim Patrick too. But they might trade away Tim Patrick for part of the Deshaun Watson trade. But they still have Tim Patrick, and also you got Noah Fant. You got an O-line because the O-line this season, most of them opt out or got injured. But we got Garrett Bowles, we got Dalton Reisner, but just Jawan James is kind of overrated in my opinion. He's not worth his contract, so maybe we should just look to trade or cut him. And we got the defense. The defense is still good. We got young defensive players like Bradley Chubb, and Justin Simmons. But if we resign Justin Simmons, that the Broncos should resign Justin Simmons because he's so good. Like in my opinion, top 5 safety in the league. But just because he's on Denver, no one really recognize him. But and then Broncos have good running backs, but in my opinion, I feel like we should keep Phillip Lindsay instead
Melvin Gordon.
than Melvin Gordon. I don't know why we signed Melvin Gordon. It just didn't make sense, but that's just John Elway being John Elway right there. But so I feel like he'll fit perfectly in Denver. Like the only problem is that Von Miller contract is a little bit too big, but we'll talk about that later. But Russell Wilson, frustrated. He's not happy. He said that because Russell Wilson gets sacked the most because his O-line is. He said that his O-line is terrible. He doesn't like it. He said he's frustrated. He wants the organization to
listen to him more.
Listen to him.
Involve him and stuff.
In the past 9 seasons, he got sacked 394 times. He's on track to get sacked more. He's on track to get the most sacks in NFL history over Brett Favre, and that's be like he would get like Brett Favre has 800. Russell Wilson's on pace to get 900. I'm not 900. 1,000 a year. So it just keep on going up. And remember, Russell Wilson only been in the league for 9 years, and Brett Favre been in the league for 17 years. 10 more years later, he's gonna break the record.
Russell Wilson, 9 years in the NFL now, never a losing record. So even behind bad offensive lines, I agree with him that he gets hit too much. I agree with him that the organization should listen to him in, who they get and such. But I don't like going out there and just trashing your O-line. How is his O-line, because at least some of those guys are going to be back next year. How is his O-line going to feel about this next season?
I don't know. That's the thing, but
put them everywhere. This is on every sports show. It says Seahawks offensive line sucks, which we know, but everybody I wouldn't have done it this way.
The thing is, like, I heard this a lot I heard a lot of Seahawks fans, including my brother, saying that the thing that Patrick Mahomes went through was just like Russell Wilson was going through in Seattle. So, which is true because I watched some Seahawks games and see like the O-line just collapsing, especially against when he was playing the Cardinals on primetime TV, when he was playing against the Rams that time, and the playoffs too. So the O-line wasn't simply blocking for Chris Carson or Russell Wilson during that time. Chris Carson didn't have a good game. Russell Wilson was getting pressure too much. So that's one problem. But
yeah, but I just think it's bad to go about it this way.
Yeah.
Where his offensive line is now shamed nationwide.
The thing is, it wasn't even Russell Wilson said it. It was just his camp, but that's basically being Russell Wilson said it too. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm. But you think the Seattle will make a change? A lot of people say that he's on. Russell Wilson said that he had got a few calls to get traded for him, but I don't really see him getting traded. But you think they will trade him away or try to help?
No, you don't trade Russ. He's so good. Despite all of these O-lines, like I said, he's never had a losing season in his career. And he's just an all-around pro. He's a good guy off the field too, as well as on the field. So I don't think that there's too much that they can change because, first of all, they haven't shown that they've been good at this. I heard that since Russell Wilson joined the league maybe, or some period in between that they haven't signed an offensive lineman to a second contract ever that they drafted. They haven't signed an offensive lineman to a second contract. So they haven't shown that they've been good at getting this position.
And they don't have any first-round draft picks, too.
What is their assets is what I was going to say. What is their assets after giving the house away for Jamal Adams and stuff like that? So they're in a tough situation.
Yeah, it doesn't look like the The Jamal Adams trade's looking good right now too.
Oh no, they got hosed for Blitz Boy.
Yeah. But I just don't see how they can improve the O-line. That's the thing. Like, unless the O-line just magically just become good, like
That just doesn't happen though.
yeah. But it doesn't help when the starting O-line off his tackles in the news about abusing his girlfriend and stuff. So.
Oh yeah, that guy. Jeez, man.
Mm-hmm. And it's knowing that that's the guy who's just blocking for
Man of the Year, Russell Wilson.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but next news, but the Eagles are currently looking to trade away Carson Wentz. We thought it was going to happen last week, but it seems like they was trying to do a trade with the Bears, but that fell apart. They just really want a first-round pick. That's the thing.
Yeah, I heard that the best offer from the Colts was like 2 seconds and a third, but they're holding out for that first-round pick. I think they're waiting out so long now that they're losing some of the teams that had interest, and that obviously is going to make it less competitive, which doesn't drive the price up like you want to a first rounder. I was actually hearing 2 weeks ago that we might get a first rounder. Mm-hmm. But now they've waited so long and it's taking so long. A lot of teams have dropped out and the competition just isn't there. I'd take anything. I'd take the Colts offer right now. First of all, because it's nice to Carson Wentz to actually give him somewhere where he can succeed. But second of all, because 2 second rounders and a third is not nothing. That's a good amount of picks.
And also you're giving up cap space too if you're just trading for a second round and third.
Right. And I just want Carson out of here, man. I'm a big Carson fan. And I think he will succeed somewhere else, but I don't think that place where he will succeed is here, because even though I think he can still be a good quarterback, he's just lost the locker room and the fans here. So he has no chance of ever getting that back, no matter what he does in his next season. So he's really in a bad spot here.
Mm-hmm. Because you can tell, like, when you're watching the games, when the Eagles are playing with Carson Wentz, they look like they're all drained and
right.
It doesn't feel like they want to play. But as soon as you saw Jalen Hurts got out there, you see like a spark in them. But
yeah, they gave up on Carson Wentz. It's kind of sad.
Mm-hmm. And Miles Sanders, you saw what Miles Sanders said, that as soon as they trade Carson Wentz, they're going to be a Super Bowl bound team.
So, he said that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, Miles Sanders. I'm not even completely sold on you, man.
Yeah, and then this came out like a couple minutes ago. Seahawks and Colts both won Zach Ertz. So
true, we have to move Zach Ertz as well.
And also not Zach Ertz. The Seattle Seahawks also need a tight end because they had Greg Olsen as their tight end, who wasn't really good for them too. So they really need a tight end. That's another position they need. So that might work out. But the Colts getting Zach Ertz and then get Carson Wentz, I can see both of them getting traded to Indianapolis. I don't know how that will happen with the cap space with both teams, but I can see that happening. But honestly, like, as a Eagles fan, what do you want for Indianapolis besides draft picks?
Man, I don't want to get too ridiculous, and I mean, obviously, I could say I want one of their best players or anything, but I don't know who would be a good, decent player to get. I don't really want that though, because I want draft picks, because draft picks is like currency, man. You can trade that to another team and make another trade and get a player that you really want. But if you get a player, not necessarily any team is going to want that guy or need that guy. So a second round pick is valuable to every team. That's why I want the draft picks. Mm-hmm. Could just be valuable to us because we have spots to rebuild.
Yeah. But in other news, Taylor Heinicke re-signed with the Washington football team. You think Taylor Heinicke can be the future quarterback for the Washington football team?
No. There's reasons that, these guys go to Old Dominion to play football or something, and then they don't get drafted, then they're out of the league for a while. Like, it just doesn't happen very often. You don't get Kurt Warner all the time. He's small. I mean, we've seen him in one game where he did very well, but wait till he gets on tape. Imagine he's a starter for a whole season. Wait till he gets on tape. Then he's going to get exposed. So I think they need to look for a real quarterback solution. They can't run it into next season with an actually good roster and have Taylor Heinicke starting at quarterback.
Think they should go after Cam Newton?
No, he sucks.
Because I hear a lot of people saying, like, oh, Cam Newton back with his old head coach.
I like Cam Newton. Yeah, his old head coach who benched him in the end. But I like Cam Newton. He was always so much fun when he was on top of his game, and even to start this season, it looked like he was back. But towards the end of the season, you could see like his accuracy is just shot. His arm is shot.
Mm-hmm. Injuries just riddle him during his whole time.
Yeah, sad.
Mm-hmm. But that whole time draft class is getting older and older with, like, you know, first two picks, Von Miller and Cam Newton. Both been like Von Miller's still good, but it's been injured for the past 2 years. So
yeah,
but we will talk about that later. But in my opinion, I feel like they should just go and try to draft a quarterback. Like you said, that quarterback, was it
Mac Jones?
Mac Jones. That's your sleeper, or was it Zach Wilson?
No, Mac Jones, my sleeper, because I hear all this talk that's like, oh, but the weapons he has at Alabama, he's not even good. But I'm just watching some of the throws he makes, and obviously a lot of times the wide receivers are open, but just the feel that he has on them and the anticipation, and he throws a nice spiral. He throws a really catchable ball. So, and his pocket presence, I just see him move up and back in the pocket. He doesn't get hurried too much. You know, he can move out and still look down the field. So he's definitely my sleeper, but it's all contingent. And this is basically for any draft guy, for any guy who gets drafted, on what team you go to. So, but another reason for my take on that is I think he's going to go in a good range, like 15 to 20, where there's a lot of good teams.
Yeah. So I feel like they can just draft a quarterback. My sleeper, in my opinion, is Trey Lance from North Dakota State. I just like how he plays. Even though he didn't play last year, I saw his tape in his junior year. And he has been getting a lot interested from colleges too, from training camps, from like pro day training camps and stuff. So I feel like he can be a sleeper. Like, I feel like he's not gonna get. I feel like he's gonna get drafted in the late first round because no one really haven't saw him play, and then that's where a good team takes him with a sleeper pick. So that's where you see teams like the Steelers football team,
Colts. If they don't have their situation figured out, Bears, teams like that. So
the team that's like one quarterback away has one quarterback away that's in the playoffs right now. So that's where I can see him. But another question. This wasn't on the agenda for today, but another question. So if you're the New York Giants and New York Giants fan, do you want to keep Daniel Jones as your franchise quarterback?
Yes. I think he took a big step forward last year. And, you know, let's say you get a new guy. He has to learn all the ropes again. And this year, I mean, Daniel Jones has, 3 years of NFL quarterbacking experience under him now? So, and this year they were a much improved team. They lost their best player in, game 2, and they were still pretty good. So, I think Daniel Jones has made tremendous strides forward. I wouldn't want to start on a new quarterback now.
You know, I'm not really still on Daniel Jones because this year even though he was injured, he threw. Honestly, his passing rush was good, but you also can blame his interceptions on his O-line that's not simply blocking for him. So, but
and decision making, it'll come with time.
Mm-hmm.
But
a lot of touchdowns and 10 interceptions, but you also can say the same thing about Drew Lock with 16 touchdowns and 15 interceptions. So,
oh gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And and one thing I like about the most from the stats that he has 2,943 yards, and he was injured for most of the games this year. So,
so we're both with Daniel Jones. Keep him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I wasn't really sold on Daniel Jones, but then I saw the stats. But I feel like Drew Lock is better than Daniel Jones. But that's just my opinion right there.
But you're trying to get rid of Drew Lock. I mean, when you get a chance to get a guy like Deshaun Watson, then
we got Deshaun Watson.
are going to be gone.
Yeah, but Josh Rosen
Gosh.
re-signed with the San Francisco 49ers. Yeah, you think this is something?
Potentially, because they're not sold on Jimmy G. So let's say they don't get Deshaun Watson or something, and Jimmy G starts doing bad. Josh Rosen could go in there to a team that has some good pieces. But I also think he sucks everywhere he's been. So
This is like his last chance.
I don't root against him, though. Is he even going to be second on the depth chart? I mean, we'll have to see.
Probably behind Nick Mullins.
Because, we saw Nick Mullins come in a few times last year and be successful.
Mm-hmm. But Orlando Brown, the offensive tackle for the Ravens, wants to trade. He wants to get traded to a team that let him play left tackle instead of right tackle. So the one thing about the Ravens that make them so good that the O-lines is great. But when you have your Pro Bowl young O-line wanting a trade, this can hurt your team, especially with a team with a quarterback who doesn't really throw the ball that much and a quarterback who only likes to scramble. So
yeah, he's really good. So do they have a left tackle out there?
I don't know. They probably do have a left tackle out there. I gotta look up the Ravens O-line, but
yeah, it depends because I'd do as much as I can to keep him. But then again, left tackle, right tackle. I mean, I assume he's played a lot of left tackle coming up if he's saying this.
Mm-hmm.
So he should be.
Oh
good.
yeah, they have Ronnie Stanley.
Oh yeah, that's one of the best.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, then you're in a pickle.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you try to talk to him, try to convince him that's not all that bad, but that he's on a championship contender here, potentially.
And you see a team like the Seahawks wanting a tackle.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, I don't mind, as the Broncos, I don't mind picking up. Oh, wait, we actually do have a left tackle. Never mind. We have Garrett Bowles, so Pro Bowler this year, too. So, but if I was the team that looking for a tackle, need a left tackle, this would be an absolute starting to do a trade right there. So, because to help your, like, if you're a team that's trying to, like, team like the Giants, to try and protect their young quarterback, see how many hits he's get taken, how many interceptions he has, because the O-line is just completely falling apart right in the pocket. But getting Orlando Brown Jr. will be a nice pickup for them. So
for a lot of teams, yeah.
Maybe we can see this later on in some future. In the future, see if this goes on with the trade room for Orlando Brown. So
yeah.
But the Broncos cutting AJ Bouye, their corner. Your thoughts on that?
He got traded there for a fourth rounder, which was kind of surprising to me at that point. I thought that was good business, but I guess you would know better than me. How was his season last year? Bad? Bad.
It was bad. He got outplayed by Bryce Callahan and the rookie corner from like the third or fourth round. So wasn't looking good for him. And then every time out there, he didn't really make a difference on the team. He was mostly injured all year long, so they just didn't feel like keeping him around because he's 29 years old. He's not really doing that much. Got injured last year, and his contract too. So if they want to get a person like Deshaun Watson, they couldn't find a trade for him. They just got to come because that's the reason why players get cut because they can't find a trade for them because their contract and the way they performed last year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I wish we could find a trade for him so we can get something back. But cutting AJ Bouye was the right thing. But thing is, I was going to talk about next. Should the Broncos cut Von Miller?
No.
Because I see a lot of people on TikTok, on Instagram saying that, having arguments how the Broncos should cut Von Miller. I'm against that because Von Miller, he's like the only person left on the Super Bowl champion team. He's the only person left. And I really love to keep Von Miller on the team because he's still good. He's been injured. It's not his fault he tore his ACL. So, he tore his ACL. Like he's gonna come back. Like he's still good if he slowed down a little bit because we still have Riley Chubb on the other side. So
Yeah. Anyways, what are you gonna get for him right now after he's just come off of 2 injured seasons? That's like selling at his lowest, which would be an unfortunate deal for the Broncos. I think he can still help them a lot,
yeah,
especially on the defense.
I'll keep him. That's the thing. And like
He's literally one of the best players in their franchise, right? Not like maybe the best defensive player in their franchise history.
Mm-hmm. You can make an argument about that for sure. But yeah, I would not cut Von Miller I'll keep Von Miller till he retires. That's the thing. Like when I first saw him got that contract, that 7-year contract after 2016. 7 years later, almost 7 years later too. That's amazing right there too. Just think about that. But I'll keep Von Miller till he retires. He was the second pick in the 2011.
Oh yeah, he was second to Cam Newton.
Yeah. It was 2011 or 2012 draft class.
I think it was 11.
2011. So 2011 draft class, where we did great in the draft getting Von Miller. So, and he was part of the Orange Crush defense that we all love and know from Denver. And then we don't forget about the no-fly zone with Creed Talib, Chris Harrison Jr., and everybody else on that squad too. So, but most of those players are gone from the Broncos. Like it was sad to see Chris Harrison Jr. leaving the Broncos last year. So, like Chris Harrison Jr. and Von Miller was the only people left on that team last year. Now we only have Von Miller. So, if we get rid of Von Miller, like that's just gonna ruin the whole entire. Like the whole time, they're just gonna lose the locker room like that because Von Miller is a team leader like that, in my opinion. Yeah. So, if they cut Von Miller, that would be a terrible decision for the Denver Broncos. But speaking about locker rooms, the locker room for the Broncos have mixed feelings about Drew Lock. You have some people, including former players too. You have some people saying that they should keep Drew Lock. He's improving every single day. And some people say, but Deshaun Watson's out there. So you think you hear Drew Lock hearing this all, you think he's getting a little nervous that he might be potentially getting traded away?
Man, that's the worst when you have when your locker room split like that, especially for I think Drew Lock has a lot of confidence just naturally, but it's got to hurt to hear those rumblings around the locker room. But as it is, he's no Deshaun Watson. So when you have a chance to get a Deshaun Watson, you go for it.
Yeah. So this is from a former Bronco player, Hall of Famer, Peyton Manning. I'm a Bronco fan. I'm a Drew Lock fan. Lock look last year for anybody who had a new offensive coordinator and a younger quarterback. It was going to be challenging. I'm pulling for Drew Lock. I'm excited for the prospects with full year. I'm excited for the team next year and the off season. Hope he has a good year. And then we talked about Deshaun Watson later on. He said, that's tough because Deshaun Watson is a talent that you cannot pass on. So,
right.
You got a legend who wants to root for Drew Lock, but can't really root for Drew Lock because I'm a huge Drew Lock fan. I like to root for Drew Lock, but you got to play like Deshaun Watson. You can't pass him up. Mm-hmm.
Right. You know what you're getting with Deshaun Watson. With Drew Lock, it's still the project, and you don't know if it's ever going to come out like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Champ Bailey saying this. He done some good things, but nothing to make me feel good about the future for the Broncos. And then when he talks about Drew Lock, talks about Deshaun Watson, he said, Deshaun Watson can change the whole entire franchise. So,
yeah,
things like that, just to change the whole entire team around. Like you hear offensive lineman Dalton Rising saying that's my quarterback. We got other players saying that, I'm not sure that he can lead this team right. Maybe Deshaun Watson be better. You got Jerry Jeudy say that's my quarterback. We just don't know about the team yet. So,
yeah, that's a good thing to say right now. I don't think none of them would be too upset, though, if Deshaun Watson comes.
Yeah, maybe to be a little upset they got Carson Wentz because
Yeah, I'm not even too sure that Carson Wentz is a lot better than Drew Lock right now. So,
But should the Broncos keep Phillip Lindsay? He's a free agent this year.
oh man, that's tough. Well, I'll usually give you the more credibility here, but to me it seemed like Melvin Gordon had some good games last year, but the year before that, I mean Phillip Lindsay struggled with injury right this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think they're kind of forgetting, the season that he had before that, where he was 1,000-yard rusher off an undrafted rookie or something.
No, that was his first 2 seasons. He had both 1,000 yards rushing, and this year was his only year that he didn't have 1,000-yard rushing because he was injured half the year. So
yeah, depends what kind of money he wants and all that, but I'd keep him. Is Melvin Gordon up as well or no?
no, remember you signed him last year, so he's like on a 4-year, 3-year contract left. So,
Oh, okay.
but in my opinion, I feel like we should include Melvin Gordon in the Deshaun Watson trade somehow.
If they even want him.
Yeah, because I just don't like having Melvin Gordon because like as a Broncos fan seeing getting undrafted players. What the Broncos are really good getting these steals, like for example with Brandon Marchand, drafting him in the 6th round back in the 2000s. So that's just a couple of examples right there where we do better drafting players in late rounds or undrafted players. But I'm saying, and Tim Patrick too. And then getting Phil Lindsay, undrafted player from Denver too. He's from Denver, hometown team. Grew up there, went to college there. Everybody gave up on him. There was like no one else wanted him. But then you see the Broncos giving him a chance. Picked him up after the draft, which was an absolute steal. And then first year he was in the Pro Bowl in his rookie year with Saquon.
He'll probably be a backup running back though. What kind of money are you gonna pay a backup running back?
Thing is, like I feel like he's better than Melvin Gordon in my opinion. Faster.
I know, but I'm just saying. I don't know if John Elway feels the same way.
Well, John Elway's not the GM anymore.
Yeah, but he just moved himself up to a higher position. I'm sure he still has say.
Yeah.
He's like head of football operations now or something.
Yeah, but I just feel as a Broncos fan, I like most people who are looking from outside of this feel like, oh, they should just keep Melvin Gordon. In my opinion, I feel like they should keep Phil Lindsay over Melvin Gordon because, in my opinion, Phil Lindsay is a much better player than Melvin Gordon. And the thing is, last year the Broncos O-line wasn't simply just blocking for Phil Lindsay sometimes too. So because most of it was injured, we got players like Elijah Wilkinson, who's from Dianetown, by the way.
Yeah.
Who's not really good on the Broncos. They're simply not blocking for Phil Lindsay, but you also can't. And then when they don't block for Phil Lindsay, he gets injured. Then you got Melvin Gordon coming in doing his job.
You think it's conspiracy? You think they just block for Melvin Gordon and not Phillip Lindsay?
No, it's not a conspiracy. It's just Phil Lindsay's getting injured all year long. Because the thing is, he was almost to 1,000 rushing yards this year too. But remember, he just got injured. So even if he get injured this year, even sharing stats with Melvin Gordon, he will still have a good season. So this game, Melvin Gordon was really confusing last year because he was giving free money away. That's the money that we could give to Chris Harrison Jr. when he left, but let him walk off to the Chargers, and then we got Melvin Gordon from the Chargers.
The games that were on like national television, I guess this impacts how I feel about Melvin Gordon. Like the Jets game on Thursday Night Football, Melvin Gordon was really good in that one, if I do remember.
Yeah,
he
but
broke off what?
It's also the Jets.
I know. I'm just saying, but those are the games that you see on national TV, like that most audiences see of the Broncos, and that one Melvin Gordon was just running away from defenders. Probably had 100+ yards.
Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of Broncos fans who have mixed feelings about Melvin Gordon, so. But
you have Melvin Gordon now on a long-time contract, so you're going to have to deal with that.
Mm-hmm. But the top free agents from this offseason, what do you think about these top free agents right now?
NFL?
Yeah.
I have to look at the list right now. Can you name some off the top of your head?
You got for quarterbacks, you got Dak Prescott.
Yeah, but they can just franchise tag him.
You got Dak Prescott and offensive tackle Trent Williams, edge rusher /
Allen Robinson is a big one. I'm interested in him.
Leonard Williams. You got Brandon Scherf, a guard. Hunter Henry, tight end. Yannick Ngui. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Edge rusher for the Baltimore Ravens. Bud DeFree, edge rusher for the Tennessee Titans. King Galloway, wide receiver.
So yeah, like you said earlier, Chris Godwin's a free agent. Allen Robinson's a free agent. So I think Chris Godwin will want to stay, but I think Robinson is out of there. I don't think he can deal with.
The thing is,
quarterback.
What you said earlier about Dak Prescott, they can't franchise tag him because they already franchise tag him.
No, you can franchise tag someone like 3 times though.
Really?
Yeah, I can see here. A second franchise tag for Dak Prescott would be valued at $37.7 million. He's not even that good, dude.
Thing is, if I was Dak Prescott, I do not want to be on the Cowboys. So, like, he can come to the Broncos. Like, we don't mind. Like, we can get
Be careful what you're asking for. Be careful what you wish for. Yeah, Allen Robinson's definitely going to be out of there. Kenny Galladay probably out of there.
I can see Al Robinson going to the Ravens, in my opinion.
Well, Kenny Galladay is not actually definitely out of there. I see here predicted Lions franchise tag him.
Mm-hmm.
Trent Williams, Pro Bowl tackle, man, that could be for the Seahawks.
Getting him and Orlando Brown too. Oh,
You got to re-sign Justin Simmons out here.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of good guys. Levante David at linebacker.
Yeah, this is free agents. It's better than from years past, like especially from receivers for teams that need receivers. So,
Brandon Scherf, another guard. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but if I was a team like Ravens, that we always talk about how the Ravens need wide receivers. Marquise Brown could not be their number one receiver. Getting Al Robinson, King Galloway, Juju, Will Fuller, like those 4 receivers right there.
Those guys get to decide where they go to, though. And are they going to want to catch balls from Lamar, or are they going to want to catch them from somebody else?
Yeah. Well, I know Al Robinson does not. I know Al Robinson is going to be on a different team next year. That's for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Allen Robinson, Will Fuller are players that would definitely be on a different team because they do not like their franchise, and their franchise has been selling them. I'm not sure about King Galloway because he might get franchise tagged, but Allen Robinson, I saw a stat saying like Allen Robinson leads the league for the past like 3 or 4 seasons for most passes, not like most inaccurate passes going his way, but he still catches. So
yeah, I've seen that.
Mm-hmm. So if he has a quarterback that actually can throw it decently to him, we can see him go off. I also can see Allen Robinson going to the Washington football team with pairing up with him and Terry McLaurin, but he don't even know their actual quarterback too, so I don't really see that happening.
That'd be sick.
Mm-hmm. But
the thing about NFL free agency, though, is it's all before the draft, so they're not going to know who their quarterback is.
Mm-hmm. We already talked about the 49ers, so we can skip on that. Mitch Trubisky, he said he has 0 interest of signing back with the Chicago Bears. So,
wow, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand that at all. The Bears have been super good to you, Mitch. I thought you could keep maybe the starter rule next year. That's
like right now. Seems like right now they're going in with Nick Foles as a starting quarterback. So,
oh man,
I was really surprised. I'm like, oh, this is the team that drafted you with the 2nd pick overall, trade up for him, and then they had so much faith in him, kept him in. Like,
gave him so many chances.
Mm-hmm. Well, he had Nick Foles for a couple games. Then they put back in Mitch Trubisky, but the way that you just won like MVP, like MVP.
Come on, you just won MVP and now you're gonna leave?
Like
That's seriously messed up, Nick.
hmm.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't know what teams are gonna want Mitch Trubisky that much.
Like,
You can get a nice starting job with the Houston Texans, I imagine.
I don't mind, like, when we get to Deshaun Watson, we can have Mitch Trubisky as our backup quarterback.
Now, Mitch Trubisky's gonna want to get paid.
Oh, he can be the backup quarterback for Patrick Mahomes or Deshaun Watson. It doesn't matter. So you can just know that these two kids right there was drafted to be after you.
Oh man, now I could see him going to like the Houston Texans after they trade away Deshaun Watson or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I was really surprised from seeing this. But let's transition to basketball. Kevin Garnett said that these current – let me pull this up real quick. Kevin Garnett recently said that I don't think guys from 20 years ago could play in this game. I don't even know that the guards from 20 or 30 years ago could even play this year because they're so creative and so competitive, and it's saucy. You get dropped too. That's what he said. So, which it has some truth because these like from 20 years ago and 30 years ago, the guards had evolved. So
all the languages in the world, and Kevin Garnett decided to speak facts.
Mm-hmm.
This is facts. Just look at the handles of the guys these days, like Steph Curry, James Harden. They would get dropped. They also can't shoot the three like they can, and they also aren't as athletic as maybe a Russell Westbrook or someone like that. So, or few were that athletic. So it's a different game now as well. Also on defense, they'd get called for every foul.
Mm-hmm. Like you can see, for example, one player I do give a lot of hate to, who's like an old player, was John Stockton. I don't really see John Stockton really succeeding in this current NBA. That's the thing.
John Stockton would maybe be Ricky Rubio. I feel like that's disrespectful to say, but like, come on now, he's not athletic enough to match these guys nowadays.
Yeah.
But what he makes up for in athleticism, what he lacks in athleticism, he might just make up in basketball IQ and everything because he was the all-time assist leader. He was on the dream team, so let's slow down. That's also why sometimes it's pointless to compare eras because there's really no possible way to compare the eras.
Yeah.
So what I was just saying, Manny, is like,
I heard you.
I feel disrespectful for saying that to John Stockton, so we might as well stop comparing eras because the man does lead the NBA in assists. I think he leads in steals, like all time, and he was a member of the Dream Team, so.
Yeah, but you can also make an argument that Isaiah Thomas deserved to be on the Dream Team too. So, but Draymond Green recently came out saying on a podcast that one player he has been talking to that he asked him like, "You look out of shape," and he said, "Yeah, I'm out of shape. The bubble killed me." So one player, and everybody's like, "Oh," on the podcast, like, "Oh, it wasn't James Harden. It wasn't James Harden. It wasn't Jimmy Butler. It wasn't anybody." And then that made people believe that he was talking about Anthony Davis because of his way he's playing right now. You think Anthony Davis is out of shape due to the bubble?
Yeah, I don't know about out of shape. Maybe just run down. I mean, with the shortest off season of all time, like these guys really do use their off season. They really do need that time. So you come off a championship run, then you're just expected to do it again. It can be difficult. Mm-hmm. And what was it? Just yesterday, he's out again now. I think he re-aggravated like an old injury.
Yeah. In my opinion, I feel like if the Lakers win this championship, this actually might be more harder championship to win because like they just came out of the bubble, only had like a month and a half to recover, and then now they're back and playing in a season.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But remember, they also have that. Remember, they didn't finish the rest of the schedule yet. So after this schedule ends, they have the second half of the schedule, so they might get a longer break. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, but.
Oh, you're tired, man?
You see John Collins on the trade block. You might be seeing John Collins in trade too. What team do you think John Collins would be a good fit for?
I think he'd be a good fit for a lot of teams. I think he's a good player.
Mm-hmm.
Just for the sake of it, let's just say Philly. Let's just say Philly, man. Need a good number 4, at least some depth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in my opinion, he'd be a good fit for any team. I don't know why the Hawks won't get rid of John Collins, but they drafted a big man who's literally like John Collins. So, in my opinion, less than John Collins, and they already have Clint Capella that's not really helping them out with spacings too. So, but John Collins having a good year just right now. So, if I was a team that needs a young power forward to boost their team up a little bit, I'll definitely take a chance on John Collins.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but next, Wizards are winning again. They've been winning a lot of games. That's recently beat Boston Celtics last night. Your thoughts on this?
I'm happy to see this because, just a bit ago, the Wizards were like, or Bradley Beal, it seemed like it was failing and they all wanted out. But I actually like a lot of those guys on the team. I root for those guys. Mm-hmm. So I'm happy to see them winning again.
Or who at Jamara? The Samurai.
Not really who I was talking about. More like Bradley Beal, Russell Westbrook, those guys. Mm-hmm. I want to see those guys be successful.
They want to see the Samurai be successful too. So, yeah, but I'm also like see them win because like Russell Westbrook gets a lot of hate for no reason. Like the thing is, you think that Russell Westbrook is the reason why they're losing, but like Russell Westbrook's the second leading scorer on the team because you only see Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook scoring. There's no one else on the team that scores. When you're starting big is Robin Lopez because Tom Robinson is not what's his name? Thomas Bryant is injured. I want to say Tom Robinson.
Yeah.
Thomas Bryant is injured, and then Robin Lopez is your starting center. It's not looking good because like Robin Lopez is definitely like out of his prime, even though his prime wasn't that as good. So.
Yeah, what prime?
Mm-hmm. But it's nice to see the Wizards starting to win again. But in our news, the Jazz
are a franchise, man. They're such a pitiful franchise. I'd like to see them win for a little bit. Okay, go on. Sorry.
No news. The Jazz are the best team in the West. You think this is going to last long? Would they make a playoff run?
Oh, man. It's tough because I feel like we've seen a lot of these things happen in, like, the LeBron James era where you see, like, an Atlanta Hawks get, like, a 60 wins or something, and LeBron just stomps on them. Regular season, I always say this, regular season and playoff are just two different things. And
you see this a lot with teams like the Bucs, where they didn't have.
But they're beating good teams. They beat the Celtics, Bucs. Now they're on a crazy win streak. Their last loss was to the Nuggets. So
Sixers next. So
yeah, they have Sixers and then Clippers twice, and then Lakers eventually. So I think at the end of that run, within their next 5 games, they have Sixers, Clippers twice, and then Lakers. So we might learn something about them in that run.
The thing is, he had the same roster from last year, so this is the players that's improving too. And Donovan Mitchell just carrying the whole entire squad.
Oh, yeah.
And then Shaq feeling the whole entire Utah Jazz up a little bit. But the Mavericks are struggling. They've been losing a lot of games. It's not looking good. They're one of the most, in my opinion, one of the most disappointing teams right now. Like, Luka Doncic's trying all of it. After the media keep on saying, oh, he's going to win MVP, he's going to be the next MVP. If his team's not looking good, you think the Mavericks won't make the playoffs this year?
No, I think they will. I think they'll get sorted. But we had such high hopes from him in our predictions. I think everybody must have had him like top 4 at least in the Western Conference.
Yeah.
But turns out they're just, I don't know, they're just a lot of pieces away. I don't even know how to describe it, but their defense is horrendous.
Well, they definitely need Josh Richardson because, like, Josh Richardson was injured for most of the year. He wasn't really playing for them, and Josh Richardson is basically like the anchor for their defense now.
Yeah, their defense.
They lost Steph Curry. Like, the defense is off for the team. They're only offense and no defense. Like, you're talking about how bad the Wizards' defense is, but like, the Wizards' defense is not as bad as the Mavericks' defense. The Mavericks have the worst defense in NBA history from last year, so.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that's all that we have for today.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all we have for today. So if you guys watching from YouTube, make sure you guys like and subscribe. If you guys watching from Spotify, make sure you guys follow. If you guys watching from Apple Podcasts, make sure you give us 5 stars and subscribe. Follow us on Instagram on Don Testa Pod. Follow us on TikTok, Don Testa Pod. We posted a TikTok up earlier.
I love that one. I'm gonna duet that at some point.
Mm-hmm.
One of my greatest takes of all time. I'll never have to be right about anything ever again because I can just say, you know what? I called Justin Herbert. And guys like Colin Cowherd were saying that he's garbage and he's trash and he was going to fail.
Mm-hmm. I got posted that TikTok on Instagram too, so we can get that out there too. But honestly, I just remember seeing that. Maybe if you posted one about me saying how the Bills would be a future dynasty, but if they went to the Super Bowl, that'd be a post right there. Because I
think we agreed on that. Maybe the three of us. We really like the Bills coming into the season.
Mm-hmm. And then you guys were like, oh, you sure about the Bills?
Yeah, points in the season, that is true. I did hop off the Bills train at one point. I think it was when they lost back-to-back games to the Chiefs and Titans. I was like, if these guys want to be contenders, then this is the games that they have to win. But
yeah. But that's pretty much it. You guys something else to say?
No, I don't got anything right now.
Okay, so that's pretty much it. If you guys, I already told you guys what to do.
You already went through them all.
Only thing I gotta say is next time we record a podcast, Deshaun Watson will be on the Broncos.
I'm outside in an AMG, right outside, TT, 2-turn baby girl, you know me. Still with the dogs that I grew beside. All the niggas